Happy Friday and welcome back to the Huddle. As always, I'm your host, Maya Perez, and today is a very special episode because, well, you'll just have to see. Let's rush on in with the NFL draft. Now, everybody is expecting Fernando Mr. Taco Bell Mendoza to be the #1 draft pick. And honestly, I'd have to agree as well. I think the Raiders should seriously draft him. But I want to know from Ariel, Kyle, and Marcus, what are your guys' hear me outs for this upcoming NFL draft?
Thank you, Maya. Yeah, my biggest take actually isn't really that big take of it all. I think the Raiders obviously are going to get Fernando Mendoza with the first overall pick, and kind of not breaking news, but big news that he's not going to be at the draft. I think that's the first projected first overall pick that's not going to be at the draft, right? But what's the hottest part of this is that I don't think he's even going to start for the Raiders when the season comes around, because they just signed Kirk Cousins to, well, he's completely robbing the NFL with his agent and all the things they're doing around the league. But there are already rumors and conversations that they don't want Fernando starting, or their rookie quarterback starting when they get one. So I think that's the plan they're going with, and I don't really know if you agree with that as the Raiders fan.
I really hate benching rookie quarterbacks to start. I know we've seen some people pan out, Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. These quarterbacks have panned out when you bench them, but personally, I want him to get the reps early, learn the offense. When Clint Kubiak came, he said he didn't want to start a rookie QB when he came here. Now, I understood that maybe as trade speculations, get someone more willing to pay a higher price. But with the signing of Kirk Cousins, it scared me that he wouldn't start. And I really hate that he's not, because the reps he would get, it's not like you're expecting him to win in his first season. You just need him to get the reps and be that guy long term when he gets to that point.
Yeah, and I think Kirk Cousins, for sure, everyone's expecting him to kind of be the veteran role, because you do have Fernando Mendoza, who we don't really know how he's going to perform with the Raiders in the NFL. But Kirk Cousins, I believe, he signed that contract, and the Raiders are fully anticipating on him being a kind of a role model, a glue guy. And I think this is like the 7th or 8th time that he's been given guaranteed money in his contract. So to your point about like the agent and how they're scamming, he didn't play that much time in Atlanta, and he still got guaranteed money. They pay him $100 million, and the Raiders are kind of following the same footpath. But I do agree with your take. I think Fernando Mendoza goes #1 overall, and then the starting is the kind of gray area, because of we don't know if they're going to start Kirk Cousins and then Fernando Mendoza like week 4 or 5 in the season. But
yeah, if the aliens come to Earth and they ask who they're gonna, like, who are we sending to talk to the aliens? I'm sending Kirk Cousins' agent, because he's gonna convince them to get out of here.
I don't know how he keeps doing it.
Yeah, but honestly, to your point about you don't like when they don't start a rookie, I disagree, because the way the NFL is structured now, if the rookie does not succeed right away, they want to just scrap his career completely. And we've seen that with Justin Fields, with multiple quarterbacks, and they wanted to do it to Jalen Hurts, and like now he's a Super Bowl MVP. So that's kind of where I have the issue with it. Like, obviously, I think Mendoza's probably a more talented QB at this point. And also, what a funny pairing, Kirk Cousins to mentor Mendoza. Probably the two nicest quarterbacks you've ever seen in football. So I think it's interesting. I do think, though, that Mendoza will be benched for the first couple games. And I don't think Kirk Cousins will necessarily do poorly either.
I mean, to go off of your point, guys like Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts, these were guys who came in, they were hired because of that athleticism. They had such great intangibles. While Fernando Mendoza is one of the best pro-ready quarterbacks we've seen in a while. Really goes back to that Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. Of course, not as highly touted as those guys, but he has that mental aspect that's so good that Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts did not even have close to when they came into the league.
And you look at the expectation that's put on him as well. I mean, he obviously, as the #1 pick, he does have a lot of expectations on him. But at the same time, people are kind of discrediting him a little bit, kind of saying, Indiana's season was kind of not his doing, and it was all Kurt Signetti. And, you take a guy like that, and you look at Justin Fields and you look at Joe Burrow, like, they had really good teams around them. And you're seeing kind of Fernando Mendoza, I think, step into the limelight with kind of the worst, like, position in a way. I would bet that money.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, it's not a crazy thing to talk about Mendoza going first. He's gonna go first. Looking past the Raiders pick, what's a crazy thing you could see happening in the draft, maybe around 4 to 7. Like, what do you expect to see going on after Mendoza's name is called?
I'm gonna go kind of in the backfield. I'm gonna say Jeremiah Love, top 5 pick, specifically goes to the Tennessee Titans.
Oh my God.
Grown over here.
Don't even get me started on the Tennessee Titans. Jeremiah Love should not be going anywhere close to the top 5. Yes, he's a great running back, but he is not worthy of that 4th overall pick. And if you're the Titans, with all this talent we have, I will lose my mind if Jeremiah Love's name is called for the 4th overall pick. You got guys like David Bailey that are probably gonna be there. Someone like Arbel Reese, Sonny Styles, I know that's a name. I would also be really mad if he went at 4, but there's a lot of other names that they can call that would much better benefit that team.
Actually,
I've seen crazier stuff happen in the draft. I mean, we saw Michael Penix go to the Falcons, and when they had just signed Kirk Cousins to that $100 million deal.
Again, a brand new rookie coming in, Kirk Cousins starts for some reason. But with the Titans situation there, I actually don't even think the Titans are going to be at 4. I actually expect my Dallas Cowboys to trade the 12 and 20 pick.
Here we go
There's
again.
a lot of rumors going on. I'm going to talk about the Cowboys.
I know,
right?
I know.
I've seen a lot of rumors about the Cowboys wanting to trade their picks, trade up, get past or get ahead of the Giants, because I think they're interested in the same player here. And that's one that I've seen. The Titans might want to trade their 1st round pick and their 2nd round pick for the Cowboys' 2 first rounders and a 3rd. And I wouldn't be too upset with it. Let's say you get Sonny Styles, and I know you weren't a fan of Sonny Styles at 4, but I think that's who the Cowboys are trying to beat out the Giants for. Maybe another player that you had mentioned, but even then, I wouldn't mind if we got maybe a defensive end. I don't think our D-line needs too much more help, but then we can get James Rodriguez at the top of the 2nd round, and I'd be very satisfied there.
See, if I'm the Cowboys, you really have no reason to trade up. You have 2 picks where you can get valuable players. I could very well see Sonny Styles falling to that 12th pick. An off-ball linebacker going early, it's so hard. I mean, we have other guys in this draft, like Jack Campbell a couple of years ago. He's an off-ball linebacker who fell much further than we thought because that value of a position just isn't there. And that draft value for a position is so important when it comes to guys. But you look at later picks, you can take a guy like Mansour Delane or Avion Terrell, which is a position that the Cowboys really need in cornerback.
I don't think you understand the perspective of Cowboys fan here, though. Because they always say that, oh, maybe he'll drop down to our pick that we have. And 12 and 20 is great. I would be perfectly fine if they kept it and got 2 good players there. But it's about Jerry Jones actually doing something for once. Because he's always content with what we have, the pieces that we have. And they don't do anything. I think Cowboys fans are pretty easy to please. If they just made a trade, they'd be happy with it. But I think it just shows that that he's being aggressive and really is trying. Like I said in previous episodes, maybe he's just trying to get that Super Bowl before, his time is done. And he's getting older. It's not to curse Penny curses out there, but
I mean, it seems like older is normally goes in the wiser, but I think the Cowboys kind of went in the negative direction. I feel like, they just got rid of, I know we're going to go back to this trade for as long as the NFL's around, Micah Parsons. And you look at that defense.
We won the trade.
If you guys, I'm not saying you guys didn't win the trade, but if you guys had a defense, you guys might have made the playoffs because you rant about, oh my goodness, Dak Prescott's the MVP, blah, 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 blah. But if you take a look at that defense, absolutely, you went backwards. And I think from the previous year, yes, the Micah Parsons getting away, obviously injured in Green Bay, I understand that. I do still think you guys won that trade, but in terms of overall team, I would say you guys went backwards in there.
But from the last season to now, I think we're moving upwards on the defensive side. We don't really need to make much changes to offenses. As long as we retain GP on the offense, we're good. And that's kind of a shaky situation right now. But we have Quinton Williams, Kenny Clark. I think the D-line's solid. We've gotten some players in the offseason already from free agency. And we just traded for Rashawn Gary. So now I'm very satisfied there. Let's get linebackers, let's get secondary, like you said. That's where I think the Cowboys are going to make some noise in this draft. And dare I say it, I think they might be a top 5 team next year.
Oh my gosh, you always, that's
Honestly,
every Cowboys fan delusion, man.
I think it's Cowboys just wanting some eye candy to look at.
Too.
I think you guys have been so bored with the mediocrity that you guys have been in for so long. And I think you guys just need the eye candy, the Micah Parsons
Can you remind me what team you like real quick?
Hey, they have a better outlook, arguably, than y'all.
Oh, stop it. Okay,
they have a lot. They signed a lot of players.
Fernando Mendoza needs to start now. because whether they start Kirk Cousins or Mendoza, the Raiders are not a playoff team this season. They won't be a playoff team for another 2 to 3 years, and they do have a better future, but the Cowboys are in a win-now situation, just like last year when the Raiders thought they were win-now with Geno and they weren't.
That was pretty bad.
Okay, so don't get me started there. But we'll just have to see the upcoming season. The draft is soon. But thanks, guys, for joining me in the arguments that we have. Love having you guys on here.
Yeah.
Back to you, Maya.
Thanks, guys. In the MLB, offense has taken a major step back early in the season, with teams across the league struggling to find consistency at the plate compared to last year. Batting averages are down, runs are harder to come by, and even top lineups like the Los Angeles Dodgers and Atlanta Braves have had stretches where the bats go quiet. Whether it's stronger pitching or slower offensive starts, one thing is clear, and the hitters are still trying to catch their rhythm. Why are the teams hitting so poorly this year, guys?
Thank you, Maya. And my personal reason for why MLB hitters are doing so poorly to start the season, it's all about the weather. I mean, you know how cold it can get in the Northeast in the late March, early April, Yeah, that ball, it has been raining. It be raining. The ball don't travel as well in that humid rain and in those colder temperatures. It just doesn't. It goes much further in June, July, August when it's nice and 90 degrees out. That ball zooms.
100%. Yeah, especially as well as these teams going from the East Coast to the West Coast, that they keep going back and forth, because out here it's hot one day and then the next morning it's raining, and then you go to the East Coast and they gotta wear long sleeves because it's 60 degrees. So I think that change of temperature is also laying an effect on the players as well. Another thing is, I think that these pitchers just got so good with their pitching style that the torpedo bat isn't working. The torpedo bat has now worked since March of last season, bro. That was the quickest fad in MLB history. It's not true, bro.
They made a couple headlines and disappeared. And,
hey, bro, Josh Chisholm and Anthony Volpe, bro.
Yeah, that's why Anthony Volpe. That's why no one's scared of the torpedo bat, because that guy was using it.
Hey, bro.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber used it.
I personally think, MLB pitchers, they're throwing harder and they're getting a lot more swing and miss, especially on the greater hitters. You got a Mizorowski, a Paul Skeens, of course. I'm repping.
Max Fried,
even, yeah.
Cam Schlittler,
yeah. He's on the rise, too, and, throwing hard, getting a lot of swing and miss.
Yeah, but even though that you do mention that, there's still a lot of the top aces in today's game who are injured to start the season. Zach Wheeler, Spencer Strider, Hunter Green, all three of those aced right-hander flamethrowers, they're on the IL to start the season. And yes, even the seventh bullpen guy throws 98 miles per hour nowadays, which was not a thing back in the day. But even with that, I think still last season, teams, the whole entire Major League Baseball, if you use batting average, they batted 245. This season so far, that's all the way down to 235. So even though, once again, I think my personal thing is just the weather. When it heats back up, everything will regress to the mean.
Yeah.
But even with that, though, what can you say about some teams that are super underperforming? Mainly the team I hate the most, the New York Mets.
Yeah.
Well,
Mets are going to be the Mets, bro. I don't really know what to say about that.
Exactly. Mets are going to be the Mets. I don't know. Have $1 billion payroll. It's just not gelling together. I guess they sign so much that, that teammate chemistry somewhat gets lost in the dugout, in the clubhouse. They're not just gelling together.
You mentioned that. You lose Pete Alonso, you trade Jeff McNeil, you trade Brandon Nimmo, and you bring in guys like Marcus Semien, Jorge Polanco.
Freddie Peralta.
That's a pitcher, but I'm saying, because they're pitching.
Changes the dynamic of the clubhouse.
You are right about that. Yeah, and they've been really struggling to start the season. I'm happy with that. But also, you mentioned the payroll. Kind of early this season, we've shown that money doesn't technically buy everything.
No.
Because 3 of the top 4 position players who were available on the market this last offseason, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, they've been terrible.
Yep.
Straight up terrible.
Literally, no.
No, not an exaggeration. They have been terrible to start the season. Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know. They might be getting used to a new system. Maybe whatever the manager is trying to tell them, hey, go up, do this.
Is that your manager voice?
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, maybe it's a different system. Of course, you're joining a new team on what they like to do. But at the same time, you go out and get a player because it does fit your system. So I don't know. I'm really torn between what it actually means. I'm not entirely sure on that.
I mean, yeah, all down to the individual player, of course, but to one of those top free agents who, three of the top four, the other one I didn't mention was Kyle Schwarber. He was the only one who returned to his original team during that, and he's had a pretty solid start this season, 6 home runs, over 1,000 OPS. Do you think that's part of it? You know, they're homesick. It's like the new system takes time to gel, whatever you have.
Yeah, I think it definitely does come down to, the adjustments. It's not a quick adjustment, especially from, for Kyle Tucker's standpoint, coming from Chicago to L.A., it's a whole different ballgame, whole different type of fans you have. But also when you're getting paid that much money, the fans are going to expect way more from you. So I think that they have a lot of chip on their shoulder, where it's like, I have to perform well to get my fan base up, but I also have to perform well because of how much I'm getting paid. And if I'm not performing, then I'm just going to get bashed. Think about Juan Soto last year, where he left the Mets to go get that big check. But the amount of bashing he got because of how terrible he was, it's just the same thing, I think, for all these players as well.
Yeah, but moving on from sort of those top-end free agents from this last offseason, the rookie class this season has been spectacular to start the year.
That guy's happy.
Nah, he's not happy because Connor Griffin has been terrible.
Yes.
He had a good start.
He had a good start. He had a good first game, and since then it's been terrible.
Had a good first at bat, an RBI double in his first at bat, and then just straight downhill. I believe he's batting 160 something right now. So,
nah, he is last in all of Major League Baseball in shortstop WAR, if you're into that sort of thing. But the other rookies, mainly like Justin Crawford, Kevin McGonigal, J.J. Weatherholt, they've been on sort of a tear to start the season.
Chase the slaughter, if you will. He's been deslaughtering baseballs here and there, Yes, he has.
Yeah, so that is kind of it. We've never had a rookie class quite like this in any of the past couple seasons. I'm kind of at a loss for words about what to say about them.
Yeah, well, Chase DeLauder, 3 home runs in 3 games. He's showing out for the rookie class. Kevin McGonigal just hit his first home run the other day, and he was, I believe he on-base streak of 17 in a row or something like that. But I don't know. Even the pitchers, Cam Schlittler in his first full years, shelving for the Yankees. It's going to be good baseball for here to come. So
I think it's just one of those things where also these players are kind of especially the rookies, it's like the way the market is, how we talked about money earlier, but these pitchers are like, if I don't prove a point now, I'm just going to get sent down, because you have to think there's a lot of good farming system within the MLB is pretty big. And if these players don't really prove their point, they kind of are sitting at that edge. Think about how he mentioned Cam Schlittler last year. If he didn't prove that point, then whenever all these guys get back for the Yankees, such as Rodon, and whenever we get Cole back, think about that. Schlittler wouldn't be on that roster if he didn't perform well. So you kind of have to think of it like that, where it's okay, if I get my chance to play, I have to play at that top level. I have to play worth it, because one, the money's going to come in if I have a great rookie year, because honestly, the rookie year kind of proves a big point for players as well, especially in the MLB versus other sports.
I will say, I think just as important as that rookie year, though, is the MLB is kind of different from any other league, where you have 3 years of your contract's renewable, and then you have 3 years of arbitration with your home ball club. You kind of have to show up for this first, out of those 6 years, you need a good 3 or so, because if not, then you could turn into an Alec Boehm situation, and he was on your last year of arbitration. You're gone in the offseason. And then,
going back to that point about the rookies and stuff, I think we're getting somewhat older rookies. You look at Connor Griffin, he's 18, just turned 18 years old.
He's married, though.
Yeah, married at 18 years old, so I guess. But
living that lifestyle.
Yeah, he's 18 years old, playing in the majors, but you look at other guys that have played a little bit in the minor leagues. I believe Kevin McGonigal started in the minor leagues. Chase DeLauder was there for most of last season. They're getting used to MLB systems and how MLB pitchers pitch.
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
And you do mention sort of that both of the Phillies' top prospects, Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford, who's made their debuts this season, they spent lots of time in the minor league system. And Justin Crawford played here at Bishop Gorman here in Las Vegas, so he's faced great competition all around the Las Vegas Valley.
100%.
And Bryce Harper, yes, you did make a good point about that.
High school.
Las Vegas High School. Last thing I want to talk to you guys about, though. Do you think that's sort of what we've seen so far, records-wise? Everyone's kind of been mid. Everyone's been around each other in the standings. Do you think that's going to hold up? Do you think this parity that we've been seeing, is it going to hold up? Or do we think we'll see sort of the top dogs separate themselves from the bottom feeders?
I think I think that like this month, honestly, for this month, I think it's gonna stay, head to head. I think that the MLB right now is also just like there's kind of some adjustments. I really think that the ABS has put a major difference on the MLB. It's had a lot of games like factors of the game due to the ABS, but I think that these players, I think these teams will be close as of now, but I think as we get a little more farther in the season, the records will definitely start showing where you'll see these top dog teams get to that level where they're supposed to be, and then you'll see these teams start breaking away, and then you'll see the gaps in between records.
Yeah, really going to try to separate, the Pirates and the Yankees, but that is all the time we have on this time we're doing baseball here on the Huddle. We're going to send it back to Maya. So Maya, you take it away.
As the NBA regular season wraps up, the spotlight shifts to the intensity of the NBA play-in tournament, where teams fight for those final playoff spots and momentum can change everything. By the time this episode drops, the bracket will be set, matchups locked in, and every team will already know their path. And every year, once the playoffs begin, there's always that one unexpected team that gets hot at the right time and makes a very serious run. So, with that in mind, who's your guys' dark horse team for the playoffs?
Thanks, Maya. Now, talking about play-in teams, I have my play-in team that's kind of my favorite, and it's the Charlotte Hornets because Colin Knippel and LaMelo Ball, they are primetime TV that you have to watch, and I just hope we get to see them in playoff regulation other than the play-in.
Yeah, definitely. They are a young core. If I were a Hornets fan, many Hornets fans shared this sentiment, but they was like, you know what? I just want to see these two at the playoffs because they can just get the experience. And honestly, I'm with them. I want to see them. I want to see them take this to the conference finals in a couple years. Not this year, in a couple years.
Okay.
This year, that's a little too much. All right, we got a couple of teams. We got the Celtics still. They got to worry about who, in my opinion, one of the bigger dark horses in the East, the Hawks, but. I'm just saying, we can look out for this team in a couple years. I think they got something special.
I don't even think we have to wait a couple years for the Hornets to be honest. I mean, since the first of the year, they have one of the best records in the league. Mm-hmm. They've completely turned around their team. They got a bunch of young guys, and the young guys are only going to get better as they go on. I don't think they're going to be in the play-in next season at all. Unless somebody gets hurt or something. That's the only reason why I would think they would drop in the standings or stay where they are. Mm-hmm. But next year they're going to be much better than they are. They got a crazy offense. They got a bunch of young talent. Mm-hmm. And the team's only going to get better. And everybody's on young, cheap deals. Con's still a rookie. Miles Bridges is still under contract.
This is Con's first year.
Brandon Miller's still on this rookie deal. They have shooters. They're going to be nice. They're going to be nice. I don't think anybody wants to see them this year in the playoffs, for real.
Going towards more of actual playoff, the 4 and the 5 seeds, the battle of the middle teams. We got, the Lakers, Rockets, Cavs, Raptors, the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, the Knicks and the Hawks. Let's go to that Lakers matchup first. Me personally, I have the Rockets, KD and Amen Thompson, and of course Jabari Smith. I just have them knocking off the Lakers because the Lakers are just too unhealthy to compete.
People out there, I am a bona fide Lakers fan. I am from LA. I grew up there. I was born there. I will take the Lakers in 6. I do not care. I don't care that they have my man. I don't care that they have Jabari. I go, what was it, 7 for 21 in March? I don't care about that, all right? Thanos is going to come back in prime form, and he's going to snap these Rockets away, all right? They're not doing anything. We're going to go to the next round, and we're going to get Luka back, all right? And we probably will still lose, but we're getting past the Rockets.
Hey, Rockets in 7. That's all I got to say.
Oh, you're doing too much.
I think it might be over quicker than that. No Luka, no Reeves, because we're really relying on 41-year-old LeBron to, carry this Lakers team. He's got DeAndre Ayton as his second option. I just don't trust that.
You trust 37-year-old KD to lead this
But it's not only KD, though.
Yeah.
Who else?
Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith.
Iffy. Almost a non-factor half the time.
If the Lakers were fully healthy, I would not have a problem with taking them in the first round.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Lakers are going to be able to score enough. They're going to be throwing all their best defenders at LeBron. And it's what is LeBron? Who's LeBron going to be passing to?
He don't need to pass, bro. It's LeBron James.
He can get it done because LeBron is LeBron. But going towards his old team in the Cleveland Cavaliers, they found themselves against the team up north in the Toronto Raptors, and I like the Raptors in this one. I know that's a little of a controversial take, but I mean, I think I'm just hoping, I'm doing the same exact method that I did for my March Madness bracket, is that I hope the teams that I want to win, even though that might not be the most realistic option, because you have Brandon Miller playing pretty much iso ball, and it's just pure hoop after hoop. And then you have obviously Scotty Barnes, his rise, versus, you know, the new look Cavaliers with James Harden and Donovan Mitchell.
I just don't see. Oh well, I mean, I could see how Toronto could win the playoff series, but it would really be catastrophic for the Cavs if they blew that.
Yeah,
I mean, like it's like every year, except the year that they lost to Boston, because you know Boston went on to win the title. Like, every other year they've pretty much underachieved.
First round exits. Yeah,
first or second round. Like I think they lost to Indiana last season.
And then before that they lost to the
maybe
Magic,
Team of
right?
Destiny, whatever. But like if they don't beat Toronto, who I don't even think Toronto really has a really star or even the
No, they don't. They just have a bunch of really solid players.
Like that's like the most B. Like a B team.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like everybody on that team would be a good second option.
But would it not be amazing to see them win?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great.
Look, I think the Toronto Raptors, like you said, I think they're like the most fugazi team just in the playoffs, right? Right now,
Really?
I think the fact that they're fifth, I think that's just fake. I think they're gonna lose to the Cavs. I'm not.
Okay.
I think so.
Do you think if they were in the play-in, they would lose?
No.
Okay.
Because the people in the play-in, they are infinitely worse than come on.
Okay.
Now. Like, we can't literally give.
So there's levels to this. So let's go back to a matchup we've seen in previous playoffs: the Nuggets versus Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards versus Jokic.
Isn't AE out?
I don't know. But
Isn't he still out with that knee injury?
No, he's back because he played against Houston last week. So he's going to be back, but that's going to be the best series of the first round.
I don't know, because, I mean, Jokic is playing the best basketball of his career. I mean, we keep saying that every year after year that he just continues to level up.
Yeah.
And so I was more excited about this matchup when it had Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jaden McDaniels, Kat, and Anthony Edwards. But now it's just AE and Julius Randle.
That's fair. That's really fair.
And so I'm not sure this will be much of a competition. I got Nuggets taking it.
Same.
Nuggets probably take it, but I mean, like, you just kind of if you have any chance, if you want Minnesota to win it, you got to think Anthony Edwards is going to just absolutely take over and just eviscerate Denver. That's the only shot that they have, really.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not
same sentiments here.
Hey,
bro.
this is a Denver team that took OKC last year to 7 games, and
they only got better.
They only got better. They added Bruce Brown back. I mean, they lost Michael Porter Jr., but added Cam Johnson. Whether you think that's an upgrade or a downgrade is up to you. But enough of that matchup. Let's go to the Brunson burner, probably one of the heroes of the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Versus the Atlanta Hawks in, again, a new look team in Jalen Johnson.
What's your take? What is your take on this series?
Knicks. I'm going Knicks all the way. We got the big bodega. I think that's what he's called in Karl Anthony Towns.
I don't think many people call him that.
I've heard it before.
I've heard it. I don't think many.
Big Purr.
There you go.
Big Purr. Okay, but him, Mikal Bridges. I think Mitchell Robinson's still on that team.
He is.
So I like this team so much, and I think it's just too early for the Hawks to really put a team around. They're kind of like the Raptors in that they don't really have a star player.
What do you think?
Yeah, but I also think that the Hawks have like a really good roster.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, like they're probably missing that real top end guy. Like if they get a star, that team's gonna be like a top 4 team in the East. I think, easily. But like they have a lot of dudes. They have a lot of people that can match up really well with the Knicks. So it's really gonna come down to like if Brunson can do it or not. Because we've seen Brunson just take over and just completely win series by himself. I mean, last year in Detroit, I mean it was like really he was the only one that really did anything. And at the end of the games, it was just Brunson ISO, and he could win the game by himself. So we're just going to see if he's going to be able to do that again. But he probably can.
I got a hot take. I think the Hawks is going to take out the Knicks. Yeah,
really?
Look. Like you said, they don't have that star. They don't have a Brunson. They don't have a early KD. They don't have that like top level scorer that can really match Brunson. But do you know who's going to be on Brunson most predominantly in that series? Dyson Daniels.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, Jalen Brunson is not going to like Dyson Daniels on him just this whole time.
The Great Barrier Thief.
The Great Barrier Thief. The Australian.
That's a top 10 nickname.
In the league right now? I got to give it to you. But
top 5. So, I mean, do you guys think that Stephen Curry has one more playoff run in him? Because he's in the play-in. They're going against the Clippers. The Clippers have been iffy this season. I know we were hoping that because if they were worse or bad enough that their pick would go to OKC, so we were hoping that, hey, James Harden's got to save this team. But now that he's off the team and it's the Darius Garland and the Kobe Sanders and the Kawhi Leonard show, shout out to Mountain West and Nevada. And so you guys think that, me personally, Steph Curry's got to have one more in him.
No.
Not this year.
Not this year,
man.
The Warriors team is just too... They're just too fake.
Well, they're too hurt. I don't know if it's over for his career, but this current iteration of the Warriors, man, I don't think they got it.
Well, that was a pretty straightforward answer, guys. Unfortunately, we don't have any more time to get into it, so sending it back to you, Maya.
Thanks for tuning into this episode, and I just want to take a special moment to thank our special guests today who are actually producers of other shows for Rebel Sportsnet, like Thomas Gabo for Rebel Roundtable, Marcus Bray from Tale of the Tape, and finally Julian Winters from RSN Top 5. This was The Huddle. Make sure you tune in next week and follow our socials. See ya!